Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to talk about right now is our supply chain and what hurricane season does to it. You know, no one wants a hurricane to make landfall. And among nature's most damaging events, hurricanes that hit land in the United States usually cause destruction and misery. They can also cause havoc to our supply chains. And indirectly, hurricanes can cause damage to raw materials or warehouses, taking out a link in supply chains that lead to backups in other areas as freight is rerouted, causes shifts in the supply demand in the equation, and it leads to redirect capacity and transportation resources, partly due to FEMA contracts as well, and partly voluntarily to hurricane recovery efforts. So, do you remember in 2005 when Hurricane Katrina hit? That was a 100,000 truckload event. It required one of the largest relief and recovery supply deployments in U.S. history. In 2017, when Hurricane Harvey hit, it prompted one of the greatest truck capacity crunches in recent history. Hurricane Lee, which is brewing right now as we speak, it strengthened from a tropical storm to a hurricane on Wednesday. And it will likely become a major hurricane by Friday. And it'll probably hit Category 4, Category 5 by Saturday. Now, Lee is in the Atlantic Ocean, well east of any land. But the NOAA expects Lee to intensify so quickly and become an extremely dangerous major hurricane. At this time, it's too early to know if Lee will hit any major Caribbean islands or any land in the United States. However, if Lee or any other major hurricane did make landfall near like a major city per se, it could cause such massive capacity disruptions for U.S. shippers just prior to the peak season run-up. If a major hurricane is forecasted to make landfall, FEMA and state-level agencies will soak up every available truck in the market just for relief activities. Did you know that? So shippers will then face much higher freight rates, and shippers will be wise to lock in secure commitments, even at higher contract rates, for a potentially chaotic fourth quarter. At worst, they may be left without trucks to haul goods. So this is where the supply chain kinks come in, because they'll have to bring hurricane relief to survivors of hurricane instead of bringing goods to stores and warehouses. So hurricanes, they create massive demand surges. Rates that shippers lock into carriers anticipating a slow second half may not work in a tight capacity environment. And many carriers will chase the higher paying FEMA freight, often ditching shippers that they view as cheap or even undesirable. So for shippers that are unsure about what to pay in the market, they could resort to high frequency rate benchmarking tools such as Sonar or the implementation of index-linked contracts. So what is the impact on the infrastructure? Well, depending on where a hurricane hits, see, that's the thing, where it hits, and its subsequent path over land, there is a variety of infrastructure that will be impacted. Seaports in the path of a hurricane close and may take time to reopen. particularly if there's any damage. The same is true for airports, rail yards, track, certain bridges, highways. Now, some hurricanes have done such significant damage to key infrastructure, while others have done very little damage. Now, regardless, these storms usually impact key parts of a state's or a region's infrastructure, if only in the sense of delays. Supply chains break down because of hurricanes, right? And sometimes they are back up and running very quickly, while at other times they can be subject to significant delays. Now, let's talk about hurricane relief efforts, especially when it comes to the trucking industry, because I don't think that a lot of people really realize how much the trucking industry is relied on and how much the trucking industry gets impacted. So, hurricane relief loads, they offer an opportunity for trucking companies to demonstrate to the public how critical trucking really truly is, regardless of how challenging a mission really might be. And hurricane relief is the biggest dog and pony show you will ever see in trucking. But there is a certain satisfaction in being able to help people who are suffering and surviving after a hurricane. Now, disaster relief haulers, they have become our lifelines yet again. Carriers and their disaster relief trucks, they take to the highways with supplies like water, food, clothing, medical supplies, even building equipment. And that goes a long way in making the aftermath of a catastrophe a bit more bearable. Trucking through disaster situations come with its own set of challenges: road closures, diesel fuel shortages, delivery destinations that are destroyed or severely compromised by a hurricane or tornado, an earthquake, or just a few roadblocks, just to list for you. And they also need to operate with extreme caution, keeping themselves safe during this storm so their families don't worry as well. So I hope that this explained a little bit more about why our truckers are so important to us and how they're so important to our supply chain, because our hurricane season is not over yet. Not until November 1st. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one, okay? You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.